Ndindi Nyoro. Please, let's keep standing as he comes to the stage. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you very much. Naweza keti tafadhali. Our CEO, my brother, Ernest Protomi, the representative from KEPHIS, Dr. Masaria, my colleague, Mheshimiwa Wainaina Wajango, pia tuko na MCS ningetaka nitambue tafadhali wasimame wawili, Mheshimiwa Esther Iroko from Kiambu County, Mheshimiwa Kenneth Karanja pia ni wa Kiambu County, Mheshimiwa KK, all the organizers of this event, the stakeholders in the avocado subsector in Kenya, and especially I've seen there are very many exporters, providers of machines and packaging, and all the other guests. Good evening. I am very proud that it is almost midnight and the hall is full. I think it goes to show how much we take this event with importance. And it goes to show how we value the kind of businesses we are doing. That is why even as time has really gone, most of us have remained. And I am very pleased that I am here before you this evening. I'll be as brief as the people who came here, because looking at the program, we were supposed to start from 7 p.m. but we also actually started from 7 p.m. only that there was interaction by that time. And because we took much more time there, you allow me to be very brief so that we don't keep each other for too long. Allow me, before I go to what brought us here. Majority of us are Kenyan. I have seen the also are Kenyan, that's why I'm saying majority. And there are some things that cut across. And I am a politician. And I am a representative of the people. And in that respect, allow me my opening remarks to talk about what cuts across all of us as Kenyans. And especially the things we have been talking about, and especially what is there currently happening in Kenya. I have put my voice in it, and I want to reinforce. I know that's not what brought us here, but it is integral. And I want to reinforce that the government is selling Safaricom stake 15%. I want to repeat again and again that the government slept in negotiating a better deal with the buyers of Safaricom stake. And I'm saying that with confidence. And I say so because I have been in the stock market in Kenya for a long time myself, because I also invest in the stock market. The Kenyan market has been bearish. Bearish meaning it has been going down. It has only started going up from last quarter of last year. And you cannot measure the value of Safaricom by how much the share is trading. And there are many examples for that to be evaluated. There is something called a bank premium when you are selling many shares together. You have seen many companies do that. Rare people did that in 2020, in 2014. The share was 27 shillings. But by the time they were selling bulk, it was bought by Rare, a company called Rare. The same brothers who had started the company earlier. The share was bought at 85 shillings. Like yesterday it was 27. By the time it was happening, it was selling at 85 shillings. If you look at how the companies in the sector are valued, I just want to say as a Kenyan, the government of Kenya is trying to sell Safaricom for a song. And because there is a period for that, for public participation, as it was said in Parliament yesterday, we are going to put our voice because we want Kenya to get the best value out of selling our most prized asset called Safaricom. So that money can build our roads, that money can build our airports, that money can do infrastructure that we all use as entrepreneurs, as manufacturers, and as Kenyans. And lastly, from where I sit as Ndindi Nyoro, I don't talk about these things in terms of politics. If there is value that can be gotten and Kenya gets the rightful value for Safaricom, we would all be happy. And I listened to my elder brother, Honorable John Bandi. He was on in TV stations yesterday and today morning. And he put a challenge that in fact today he was saying he was wishing I would be there so that we discuss that matter. I want to, from this platform, respectively, tell my brother Honorable Bandi, I have taken up the challenge. When you are ready, I am ready, and in a TV station of your choice. And as you come with all the stakeholders, involved in the sale of Safaricom, because we are not doing it for politics, as I'm repeating. I want to ask very pertinent questions on behalf of Kenyans. And because he's doing the challenge, I also return in kind that when he's ready, including Monday, I am also ready in any TV station with any moderator of his choice so that Kenyans can get value for money in the sale of Safaricom. Coming to the meeting, today's meeting, I am shouting because I realized when I was seated that I was not hearing very well. And because I would want us to be together, that's why I'm talking with a higher voice, because I realize the mic is not very, very loud. The economy of Kenya, and I am glad that I came early. I have sat here, and I am very, very proud of our country, Kenya, and the people in this hall. Thank you very much, and today I'm going to get because seated here, listening to what all the speakers who came here are doing, I realized that we're in a very good country and that support should go to where it matters most. And the kind of support that can be rendered to the people in this hall, definitely none would go to waste. Because I have seen a diversified stakeholders dealing with the subsector. But more importantly, it actually also opened my mind that as the late, I should also become a stakeholder and start taking money from our country. Our county, I was told, is among the best, actually the best, because I come from Ranga County. Na nimeona nadara kwa kazi. Lazima pia mimi niingie hapa nitafute pesa. Nimeona iko. By the kind of speeches I saw here and listened to, usishangae next time hata mimi kabana yangu itakuwa bahari. And I wish many more Kenyans were listening. You were actually live on our channels because I have learned a lot. In fact, you called me as a speaker. I have benefited more from listening than from speaking because I have seen and talking to the people I got the opportunity to talk to, there is good return here than even buying clothes, as I always keep saying. And there is much more value here, and especially by bridging the value chains. And that brings me to my first point. The Kenyan economy is in a kawaii mara tatu. Is in three aspects. One aspect we call it primary production. The second one we call it secondary production. Primary production is everything in raw form, from agriculture, from mining, from fisheries, anything that is produced in raw form. Agriculture is number two. Secondary production is number two, which is more or less manufacturing, together with the value chains around manufacturing. And the third one is service. Now, this is the funny thing about how our economy is and productivity. What we call agriculture, that is raw form, accounts for around 18% of our GDP. 18% of what we produce per year is produced in primary production. That is farming, not just agriculture, farming itself. Because agriculture has a lot of value chain. Farming, minerals, fisheries, forestry. Asilimia 18. Manufacturing accounts for manufacturing together with the associated value chains. Accounts for 17%. But manufacturing alone, if you remove all the other value chains around it is a double digit. Is around 8%. So service industry accounts for 65% of our GDP. What am I trying to say with all these issues I'm talking about? Imagine agriculture, the raw form of our production. It's not just farming. Agriculture, in the economic sense, incorporates including fisheries and the rest, as I have stated. That 80% of what we produce employs 70% of the entire rural population. Because the rural population in Kenya, 70% are engaged in, especially agriculture itself, farming. Then it shows that there is very low productivity in agriculture. What our parents do, rearing a cow, what we also do, raw agriculture. Per person, what comes to your pocket as productivity is too low. And there is no economy in the world, including the many popular economies now in Kenya. The economies now we are referring to often. From the growth of UK, US, Japan, Asian tigers, there is no economy, even one, that has a case that we studied, that this country became first world, and this company became developed because of agriculture. And I am very proud that in this hall, that has already sunk. Because I've seen beyond farming avocado, farming practice in the farm. Beyond that, I have seen we are trying to bridge the value chains around it. Even if we are selling a lot of it in raw form, at least there is something we are doing in terms of value adding. But I'm even more proud that beyond exporting the raw avocado, many of us here are actually also making oil. I am very proud of that, because when you rely on just exporting, of course you become a prisoner of seasons. Every economy that relies on pure primary production becomes a prisoner of weather, becomes a prisoner of seasons, and becomes a prisoner of what we call market prices. Market prices always affect commodities. Everything that is produced in raw form, mahindi, avocado, maharagwe, minerals including gold, any other mineral, is always affected by global prices. But when you start value adding, then you start doing some other things like branding, like blending, so that you can still sell the same thing, but you have capacity to actually determine your price. Just as it happens in coffee. That there is coffee you buy at this much, but there is much more, there is another that you buy at a much higher price. Because of branding and blending. Because you can determine your price when you jump out of just primary production. Let me stop the jargons and the economic issues. People in this hall today, I want you, when you have time, started the billionaires from Nigeria. I read about them a lot because they motivate me. Billionaires from Nigeria. Starting with Dangote himself. Please go study them, even online when you have time. Study how they started. Study a guy called Abswaman. He has a company called BUA Group. Please, because I've seen what you're doing, go study those two cases. How Dangote started and how BUA is a group of companies which now they are in many sectors. The reason I'm saying this, these two gentlemen, both of them started from agriculture. Dangote started from agriculture. The base of Dangote we know now, the richest black African there is in the world, started in this hall today. The refinery is building. The base of Dangote refineries is agriculture. BUA started from agriculture. Now he's doing a refinery. He has, of course, BUA cement. Both of them are also in cement industry. But the money they got from agriculture is the one that catapulted from to where they are. But how do they do it? You make money from agriculture. You make money. All of us here are in agricultural value chain. Even if you are an exporter, you are within agriculture. Unless you start value adding to a higher scale. Because the agricultural value chain is wrong. Actual farming accounts for less than 25% of agricultural value chain. So if you are a farmer, you are doing 25% of agriculture. So what Dangote and BUA started, they started with farming, expanded to what many of you are doing. You already have contracted farmers. Went further to value addition. Normal things, like what you are doing in oil, like what you do with the hens, what the hens do, crab hens, like flour, unga. There is even a company called Dangote Flour and BUA Flour. So that value chain of agriculture, they capitalized, made money. But this is the thing. After making money, they stopped seeing money as a possession. That is what most of us do, including myself. When you make money and you are an exporter and you have made money in your bank account, you have 20 million, you have 1.5 million, you have 100 million. What do we do most times? We start now seeing this money as a possession. I own it, it's my money as a possession. When you view money as a possession, your root of growth becomes very big. You must start seeing money as capital for additional production, and you stop seeing money as a possession. I keep talking about real estate. Everyone here has a house, maybe where we live, whether you own it or whether you are renting. So I'm not against real estate. I always, even here, if we sample, Tahi, all these people with these banners, the side hustle they are doing, hakuna mtu hana ploti analipisha mahali. In this hall, there is no table without a representation of a person, either with a plot, a flat, or a person thinking of one. Or kasapa kidogo, because I made so much money this season, so the next day I am going to buy a piece of land. Remember, not a piece of land to farm, a piece of land maybe to speculate. I'm not even against real estate. What I'm saying is that when we see money as a possession, we look to possess things. We look to possess something, to possess a piece of land, to possess just something to see. But it becomes a very slow part of growth, because a higher root of growth is the one that Dangote took and the one BUA took. After making this money in farming, and you have added value now, you can say you are in agriculture. You have actually gone past farming. You are now going to manufacturing, and you are becoming bigger. You must see this money as capital to do something more, to produce, not to put it aside as a possession. Am I saying anything? I am also talking to myself. So I'm not just talking to you. That is one of the things that if we want to become like Asian tigers, we have to stop obsessing with possessions. Because the daughter had already made enough money to possess so much. A flat in Dubai, a flat in wherever, a flat in wherever else. He already had that capacity through maybe the Dakota flag, Yakusiaga Uka. But then he saw this money not as something to possess, but something to create more value. But in the process, it becomes self-fulfilling. Self-fulfilling how? You make money. After you make money, because you don't possess it, unaimachilia itafuta ingine, then in the long run, you end up actually possessing even more. But your goal was not to possess. So let us invest whatever we are having in still expanding our value chains within what we are doing, but also expanding to other things. You are dealing with avocado, you can exhaust the entire value chain of avocado. You can exhaust the entire value chain, but then start also branching to other things that are related, and you keep on adding more products, again add more value to those products, and then from there you can even go not from just vertical, you can go horizontal, and then you venture into other industries, just like those two gentlemen. And as you do so, and I said I'm having a short speech, as you do so, now you are graduating, you are talking about, you started with 5 million shillings, you are doing turnovers of 100 million, you are climbing high, and you are climbing high. We expand our horizons on where even we get financing. If I ask in this hall, where do we get our money to expand? Majority of us is in commercial banks. But if you study the Nigerian model, forget about the Nigerian economy. The fact is that Nigeria has the highest concentration of billionaires in Africa, black ones. So there is something to learn there. Niko wapi? Niko nasema nini? Nione kama nitamaliza tu kuongea saa hii pekee. Who can tell me where I am? Where bro? Kwanza hapo kwa bilionea hamsahau sana. But what was I saying about them? Can somebody tell me what was the point I was trying to the life? Nione kama it is too late to give a long speech. No, I had already finished about possessions. Can somebody tell me? Yes? Very good. Please clap for him. It was about financing. If I ask in this hall today where we get our money, majority of us is commercial banks. But you know at a certain scale, you can get money from regional lenders. The Dakota is where he is because of a Brexit bank. PUA is where they are together with the Dakota because of African Finance Corporation. Some of them are people I know. They are actually looking for people to fund. It's definitely a lower rate than the market commercial bank rate. Please, let's also look at that kind of thing. So that it's not just commercial banks. There are other people who can give you money even as an entrepreneur with better rates. So that you also leave commercial banks, graduating the other people to reach where you are. Ukifika pahali fulani, ulizia offices are flexing back, and I'm not campaigning for them. It's because it is a real model that has worked. AFC and such kind of regional lenders and regional financiers who can catapult you now where commercial banks can. Very lastly, and I've seen my brother from Kempis is here. And I've always said this, our commercial attaches, forget about commercial attaches, our ambassadors in Kenya, they must start having a scorecard based on how much market they look for the Kenyan products. I mean, a thriving country or a growing country or a growing economy like Kenya, you cannot only grow through well. Diplomacy is fine, but we must start judging them by how much business they give to the people in this hall and the others like you. So that we are left doing what we need to do in terms of producing, but there is somebody else also doing their best to create robust markets, so that we always perpetually are not having a problem with where to take what we have. Very lastly, I always talk about investment, which I can talk about in 2 minutes. After we make money in what we do here actively, where do we take our money first? You must have heard me somewhere talking about it, but because you are not there, let me paraphrase it, because I don't even think you did anything after listening. You know, even me sometimes I read a magazine, let's say Forbes magazine, Fortune, and I keep telling myself, I must stop reading for fun, and I must stop listening for fun. You know, at the end of the moment, you watch Bloomberg TV, you watch CNBC, you read Forbes, you read Fortune magazine, but to be X-rated, I keep reminding myself, the reason for gaining knowledge is not for me to be excited. It is for me to improve something about myself. So that's why I'm saying, I know even after listening to that video, not many of us did anything about it other than being happy. Passive investment is not just buying a plot of land. I keep repeating that. And my brothers and sisters in real estate, you are doing a good job for giving us a place to build our homes. But we must reorient our capital. And I keep saying, the stock market in Kenya is grossly undervalued. And that is why maybe I was talking about Safaricom. Take a company like the one, unasemanga maneno mingi, take Kenya Power. I'm not campaigning for them, but reason with me. This company, if you bought it, if all of us in this hall we bought Kenya Power today, we would spend 24 billion shillings. 24. The entire value of the company. Last financial year, not last, he made a June year this year, they made 24 billion in net profit. I was talking to Jango, nikamuuliza machini kama hii ya nini, hizo machini tulikuwa tunaonyeshwa, nikinunua, although I'm actually very sure, nikinunua hii machini, itanirudishia pesa yangu after how long? Nilikuwa namuuliza, ananiambia out 3 years. Nikaona maybe for diversification I can do it. But listen again carefully. This is a company that if we bought it in this one day, you see the way government is selling Safaricom. To say this is kama avocado association. Vile tu mnauza hiyo tuuzieni hii. Na vile mmeuza hiyo na hasara, mkiangalia shares, tutuzie hivyo hivyo. Tutanunua Kenya Power sisi wote. Avocado stakeholders will buy Kenya Power for 24 billion shillings. I will get up to them. They made 1 year profit, 1 year net profit of 24 billion. Just tell me where in the world you get such an opportunity. Take a company, and I'm not me, when I give you this, I tell you to go read. Don't buy because Ndindi Nyoro said anything. I am just directing us to read and starting because it doesn't take long to know all these things I'm talking about. Take any company, including KCB. KCB this year, by the way, by how they increase their Q3 results, they will not make less than 60 billion in profit. 60 billion in profit 1 year net. But the valuation today, if you bought the entire SCB, it will cost you less than 220 billion, meaning less than 4 years of their net profit, you have your money back. Take any other. Let me give the last one. Let's say you can choose any because the market is at a value that anything you touch. Take insurance company, Kenya shares. If you bought all of them today, you would spend less than 17 billion shillings. Your company where they have no loan, they have zero loan. But the cash and cash equivalent meaning the money they have fixed in the bank or the money in treasury bonds and bills, and they have no loan. They have 41 billion shillings in cash and cash equivalent. That tushikane sahi, tuchukue loan, we buy Kenya at 17 billion. Then ikikuwa yetu tumepewa key, tunafungua kampuni hivi, ndani kuna cash ya 41 billion. Then we take 17 to the bank, watu na hii kile yetu. I'm just saying figuratively, there are many opportunities in investing in the NSC. And I have taken it upon myself to talk to you until you get bored. That there are opportunities in the capital markets. Because when we all concentrate on the capital markets and we develop our capital markets, we are making Kenya a significant hub of capital flow. Capital flow means we then make people to realize there is a market called NSC. When there is a market called NSC, which is part of the global market, when you in your company wants to raise money, you just be listing your company in the NSC. Even as an SME, there is a category. You list. Instead of getting a loan, you sell a stake of 25% to the NSC, you raise 500 million, you expand your company, the people who bought your shares grow, you also grow, and the market grows. All these economies, South Korea, Singapore, US, UK, they grew out of the abundance of capital. And because they had a capital market which is having inflows which can be absorbed. But our NSC now has many opportunities, but us here who live in Kenya can't, because they are not taking advantage of them, then the market continues to be dampened. So we all lose out. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Ndindi Nyoro. You really a super economist. So even as